Mr. President, thank you very much.
Waseem Hamad, I'm a CEO of a pharmaceutical company from the Sultanate of Oman. My question is regarding Russia's motivation for southward turn. How strategic and long-term is it? And if we take aside the large economies like China and India, does Russia have a tangible interest in pursuing economical relations with smaller economies in the global south? And my second part of the question, Mr. President, if we assume a scenario of normalization, not necessarily political, but at least getting back into normal business relations with the West, do you expect Russia to still consider global south as a priority? Thank you, Mr. President.
You know, everything that has been happening in security and politics has brought about the structural changes in relations witnessed nowadays in the world. When I hear that Russia is pivoting to the east or to the south, we have not been pivoting to the south or east, no. We've long since the noughties, bearing in mind the global development trends, we have been gradually stepping up our presence there. We've been doing that for quite a long while. Our relations with China have been developing irrespective of what, for instance, has been happening in Ukraine. Long before that, China became our biggest economic partner. Now we have said that Russia will maintain relations and ties with big economies, but what happens to if a normalization with the global West takes place? Although the West is the global West is in existence, its share in global GDP has been shrinking constantly, but the share of global South and the East keeps increasing. And according to the IMF and the World Bank data, the pace of growth of emerging and developing economies is 2 times higher than that of what we call developed countries. A twofold difference. And some of the economies have been growing at a stunning rate. Look at Ethiopia. Over the past 10 years, they have grown by 118 or 120%. It's phenomenal. It's unique. Bangladesh, 80-something% of growth. And many other economies in the global South and East have been growing similarly on similar levels. So we naturally look to those directions and places where we see a lot of growth and where we see a greater number of our prospective partners that pay no heed to the invectives from aside. And, you know, with respect to the threats to the third countries cooperating with us, you know, people from whom those threats emanate have been trained in Cambridge and Oxford. They have good education and a good background, but they should be smart and clever. But from judging by what they've been doing, I have doubts, or probably they might be well educated and clever and smart, but something prevents them from responding expeditiously to what has been happening globally. So probably this is snobbery, a haughty attitude. You know, they believe that they can do anything, but the world is changing, and the world is changing, and they cannot do whatever they want. So with their action, they have been adding pace to the multipolar world creation, which has become inevitable. More and more countries in international affairs and economic actors are aware that looking at the powerful markets with a high technological level is important, but partnering with these is insufficient at this point. So something more is needed. So I hope that at a certain point of time we normalize our relations with our Western partners, because first and foremost, because they will be interested in that, and we also have interest in that. So despite this possible and I hope inevitable process of normalization, a big deal, a big part of our volume with our today's friendly partners and countries will be in place because it is inevitable.